Your age doesn't always equate to having wisdom. In this video, I'm going to talk about how to make sure you're not living the same year over and over again, psyching yourself up or lying to yourself that you're getting wiser and wiser and gaining more wisdom over time. Okay, this video was inspired with a conversation I had with someone, and we were talking, and we were just talking about life and many different topics. We was talking about finance, we was talking about relationships, we was talking about experiences that happened and during childhood and how that shaped who we are today. So first, let's talk about it. But what stood out in my mind in the conversation is, one, every time we kept talking, every time we was talking about the different things, they kept saying, "Oh, I've been on this earth a long time." And I'm like, okay, but what does that translate to? What does that mean? What is in my head, that's how my mind works. What is the fruit that is bearing? And maybe there is some fruit, but is it the fruit that could have been more fruitful or just more plentiful? Let me say it that way. What I just realized, I already knew it. Sometimes people listen to you just to respond. It's like they have all the answers. And a defense mechanism sometimes is, well, everybody has a different way of doing it, and everybody's situation is different, or maybe people didn't have enough time. So, and for me in my head, I was like, okay, man, that sounds like excuses to me, or reasons to soften it up, make a person feel better. But just growing up, seeing what I've seen, good and bad, but extreme ownership, extreme accountability is really, really important, and self-awareness. And when it comes to relationships, let's talk about one of the things we talk about, relationships. I was like, oh, it's cute that you guys it's real cute that you guys do the weekly date night and all that, but hey, not everybody has time for that. Some people have kids, some people have other things that they need to do, da da da. And it wasn't that I was pushing that. I wasn't. It wasn't. So maybe it was something that they were processing in their head that they decided to share with me. And I was like, oh, okay. In my head, I'm thinking, oh, that's absolutely an excuse. Because to the day I die, if I'm still married, we gonna do date night. We might have to reschedule the date night, but we gonna always make time for each other. If we have something to do with it, if I can control it, because that's something that I didn't see growing up, of like intentional date nights. And so I saw an opportunity from my past. That's fine, no judgment. Do what you do. That's what worked for y'all. But I said, there's an opportunity here. And I'm gonna tell you something else. So my wife and I, we go to we do the Gottman Institute workshop every year. And actually, I need to look and see when it's available this year. We got a lot going on, but I'm still see we can make that happen. And it was just so interesting and eye-opening that in the workshop for the married couples, and let me frame up how the workshop is. The workshop, it's couples. It's for couples, but then there's two facilitators usually a man and a woman, and then sometimes they might be husband and wife, but man and woman. Then there's couples on the screen together, but the age is from, I would say, probably early 30s to 70s, like that wide range. And just to see, and so just seeing the interaction amongst the different ages. And one of the things I pay attention to in particular sometimes is how the older couple, and it's just an observation, just watching, just like, oh, interesting, and just hearing them talk and hearing their experience. And some of them were yearning for a date night. They had got disconnected a long time ago, and yes, they've been married 30 years, 40 years, but essentially they were roommates. That was it. Waking up together, and that's pretty much it. Or one nagged the other all the time, or it would, but there was something. There was an opportunity to improve. Is my point. And I got to give a shout out to the folks that showed up on the call because they wanted to improve. But they wanted to improve. Some people, they were on their last leg, like, I don't know if I can do this again. Some people, things are like, okay, because we've been doing this thing for a long time, but we need to do something different. This ain't working anymore. Or they just want to take it to the next level. And I loved that. I love to see that because a lot of times, and look at yourself, look at me, look at yourself. Just because you've been on this earth for a long time and you've been doing a thing for a long time doesn't mean that it's with excellence. It's with excellence. Obviously, you got to figure out what works for your household. However, but for me, what I've learned is just because a person says they were married for 20 years, 30 years, 40, 50 years, but I'm like, was it successful? Were you happily married? Sure, there'll be, seasons and that sort of thing. That's a part of it. Did you guys ever go get to resolve? How do you guys resolve differences? Do you just fuss at each other and then just let time pass and you don't ever really talk through why y'all were yelling at each other or why y'all had a disagreement? Do you ever explore, why am I always on this person's head, whether it's the man always fussing, cussing, yelling? Are you communicating with your wife of hey, you know what? After some reflection, we need to talk about this because I could have handled that a little bit different. Or are you on the wife side and you're just nagging and criticizing and picking apart everything, and that just has become your cycle, your dynamic? That stuff ain't healthy. Don't nobody want to hear you running your mouth all the time, complaining or finding fault. How about you focus? And also, I would challenge, how often do you tell the person you appreciate them, just straight up? So all these criticisms and complaints are fussing, because I grew up with that. I grew up observing fussing without some type of balance, without that balance that I just mentioned. Hey, I love you. That's a love deposit. Hey, I love you. It's a love deposit. And also, the other thing I observed growing up was expressing love through doing something without the communication. That's 100% dysfunction. And we deserve clarity, and we also deserve clear communication as a person. And if your communication is not there yet, that's okay. Write it down. Express it that way. We got AI these days, so be genuine with you, right? AI can help you adjust the tone and give it to them or read it to them. But to bring it home, just because you've been on this earth a long time don't translate to wisdom and don't translate to everything. And so it just was a good reminder of when, as I continue to age, if it's meant for me to be here, I'm 40. So if it's meant for me to get 50, 55, 60, 65, 70, I just want to keep that spirit of growth, that growth mindset, to just keep getting better in my marriage, keep getting better in my finances, keep getting better in my communication, continue to improve in any other thing that's pointed out to me that might be a blind spot. And Jesus is Jesus is not. So in the book, in the Bible, there are practical things that you can do to enhance your life. If you just follow the blueprint, your life will enhance. But a lot of times in our culture, from what I've observed, is and growing up, God got it. The Lord, He gonna make a way. Yeah. Let me pray about it, and then you in purgatory prayer, and when you get off your knees, it's like, but did you feel? But like what? Okay, but cool. That's fine. That's 100% okay. I got it. I understand that. Because you do the prayer, be in a little bit of silence, and you get a spiritual. I call it spiritual download, or the intuition, or a aha moment when you don't have a lot of noise in your head of insight of, oh, that's what I need to do. But what happens is you're just in this cycle of waiting, hoping Jesus is gonna come down from the sky and magically zap you into a new life. It's not happening. It's never gonna happen. It's never gonna happen. I call that fear. I call that it's fear, or you just don't want to address something. You might have some emotional instability stuff going on. Heck, you might even have some mental stuff going on, which is the same thing. Most mental stuff going on, but it just has gone undiagnosed because in our culture, Jesus gonna work it out. But how about Jesus plus some practical help? Wise count, there's help and wise counsel. But anyway, that's my thoughts. And so that video is like, yeah, I know on this channel I talk about money. I talk about money. I talk about life. But as you making money, money is just a tool, man, to make your life better. So you have to address all these things. Sometimes money is the last thing to come, even when you're focusing on it. But you got to still focus on those other parts as well. You got to make that find a way to fit that in as well. All the other pillars of life. But to end this video, just because you're aging, are you reliving the life over and over and over again? I don't want that for you. So if you feel like you are in that space of like, yeah, man, I do feel like I'm stuck. I do feel like I'm living that same 1 year over and over again, and I've lived it for the last 10 years. Book a coaching call. We could talk about money. We could talk about life. The gray hairs I got, I might, I know I can help you. And if you don't think it's helpful, I give you money back because it's not that deep for me. But I know it'll help you. I know it'll help you. We all need help. We can't figure it all out on our own. It's always good to call and get someone that has experience and they've also achieved some level of success. Millionaire, successfully married, not perfect, but successfully married. Been with my wife 10 years, been married 7 years. Hey, I've forgiveness, forgiving my past, forgiving myself, It's been a journey, a lot of therapy, a lot of coaching. And so if you fall into any of those things, that's holding you back. Book a coaching call. But until the next video, I'm out.